Welcome back, YouTube. Hope you all had a great day out there. I want to talk all things XRP in this video and give you updates, what happened here today, as well as at the end of this video, I want to talk about the 10K per coin XRP. You know, this has been a long-standing debate. Is it realistic? Is it possible to actually see 10K per XRP? Guys, all I ever ask is if you do like talking about XRP, XLM, digital assets, and more, you know what to do. Go ahead and drop an X in the comments section, smash that like button, and share the video. Let others around the world know what is truly happening here in this digital revolution. Guys, I want to start off by taking a look at the market here today, as we did have a pretty sluggish day here, sitting at 2.72 trillion globally, sitting in the extreme greed still, and so kind of a much needed breather, as I do fully anticipate us getting big rips, getting big runs as we get closer to the Bitcoin halving. Chad Steingraber puts India's UPI, powered by Yes Bank, Digital India Rupee, will be accelerated in both private and corporate finances. Users will be able to authorize operations with digital INR through QR codes. And then as we come down here, we see a direct quote. They said, the group president there said, and head of global Indian banking at Yes Bank, "We are glad to partner with Ripple to realize the enhanced efficiencies of blockchain for real-time cross-border payments." ISO 20022, let's do it, said BlackRock overtakes MicroStrategy by Bitcoin holdings. An absolute moonshot is what BlackRock has recently done in the past 2 months, less than 2 months really, of accumulating Bitcoin, putting on their balance sheet, and utilizing Bitcoin for their ETFs. Now, David Schwartz said there might be a demand for gold assets backed by a counterpart as a bridge, and that a universal asset like XRP will start to be required. And here's his direct quote: "There might be a demand for gold assets backed by a counterpart as a bridge, but ultimately, I think that will produce an island of liquidity that will still require a universal asset such as XRP, which solves liquidity, right? Because the world certainly won't agree on a counterparty if they don't have to. As we know, a lot of the world is under unrest right now, and it is hard for nations to agree on the simplest things, let alone a currency." Now, Ripple versus SEC lawsuit update. Ripple versus SEC, the long-running lawsuit, is finally on the last leg, as plaintiff Ripple submitted all details regarding financial statements and post-compliant XRP institutional sales as required by the SEC. Also, the court granted a week extension for the SEC for reviewing the documents and fulfilling a remedies-related opening brief. We are getting so much closer. This has dragged on for far too long, but according to court filings, April 12th is the deadline for submitting motions opposing remedies proposals. While the final remedies deadline is April 29th, the court will also determine the penalties for Ripple's institutional XRP sales on the later date. Now, considering prevailing sentiments, a perceived positive outcome for XRP could lead to a price surge. The altcoin experienced a similar situation last July with a partial court victory, and according to the data, XRP surged over 100,000, or 100, I wish 100,000. We'll talk about that in just a moment, but 100% shortly after the court ruled that Ripple's token sales did not constitute investment contracts. So many users do believe another perceived favorable ruling could send XRP over $1 in April. Absolutely would love to see bullishness on the price of XRP prior to the Bitcoin halving, because I do believe about a month or two after the Bitcoin halving, as always, if we take a look at historical charts, we know that the Bitcoin halving does matter and it will send the market higher. Now, David Schwartz says, so a higher price is a better vehicle for payments, at least if you're targeting high value payments. Now, he said this a long time ago, right? 5 years ago, but the same applies to this day. As we can see, when we talk about scalability, which is essential, when we talk about a payment settlement solution using micropayments to move digital money around the world in lightning speed. In fact, transactions at 1,500 per transaction a second, we need something that's scalable. Bitcoin, Ethereum, just flat out is not scalable. So it doesn't make sense to use it for the banks to move large sums of money. So we get that, right? And we've heard Brad Garlinghouse talk in the past, multi-trillion dollar solution. And that really is the key. When we take a look at CBDCs, we have CBDCs coming whether we like them or not. They're not going to be in the US, I don't think, but you never know. But they will happen. And when we talk CBDCs, we are talking trillions and trillions flowing through the system all over the world globally. And Ripple and Stellar are the number 1 and 2 assets that will be utilized for CBDCs. Not just in my personal opinion, you can fact check and look at this. These two dominant blockchain powerhouses, as you can see, Ripple is working with all of these banks, Bank of America, UBS, Deloitte, Mercury, Flash, CGI, W3C, like the biggest and the best, right, all over the globe. We have to understand we've got a finite amount of coins here, 100 billion, right? We slash that in half, 50 billion. It doesn't take a whole lot of money when you take a look at the overall system, which is quadrillions, to pump into billions of tokens to send this to astronomical levels. And the thing, and where people always get hung up, is they take a look at market cap and they're saying, well, do you really think that Ripple could be valued higher than Amazon, Apple, all these Google, all these massive corporations, actually more than all these corporations combined? Well, yes. Do you think Apple is out trying to solve a world financial system problem? Do you think they are after moving trillions of value all over the world? No, they're in the phone business, they're in the computer business and other things, but the world of finance is infinite, guys. There is so much money. And as we continue to print more money every single day, and we take a look at debt and derivatives, the amount of money that can come in onto the XRPL is astronomical amounts that we can't even fathom. And so to look at it simply as a market cap and say, well, it's the 7th biggest market cap in the world, and how could it possibly have that amount of growth ahead of it? We've only got a market cap overall globally of 2.72 trillion globally. The stock market's being tens of trillions. We bring a few trillion into XRP alone. What happens when we bring in a couple trillion, right? What happens to the price? And then over time, I'm not saying a 10K XRP is meant to happen anytime soon, but when we take a look at the fact that banks will be hoarding XRP and they will be buying and taking XRP off by the millions and billions off of exchanges as potentially a world reserve, the amount of possibilities are endless. Just like looking at Bitcoin from the early days, 10 years or so ago when it was sitting at $1, most of us couldn't even fathom Bitcoin going to 60, 70,000 per Bitcoin. But Bitcoin largely isn't being utilized still, right? There's a lot of people, a lot of investors buying it, but how many banks are actually using Bitcoin to settle transactions? And then, of course, we get into the subject of burns, the burn mechanisms, and other use cases along with XRP outside of cross-border payments and getting into the derivative markets and tokenizing securities all over the world. We, I believe, are going to see massive price increases in XRP. It's not a matter of if, but when. And Of course, there's always going to be naysayers. There's always going to be doubters, just as there was with Bitcoin in the early days. But from all the evidence, from everything we've pulled together, and we take a look at all the partnerships they have, the stars definitely 100% are aligning. Let me know all your thoughts and your opinions in the comment section below. Drop an X, and we'll see you in the next one.